Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign happening every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. And if you missed the live stream, you can always tune into YouTube a couple days later and find the VOD there. This is episode 9. You can find the previous 8 episodes in a playlist called All That Glitters on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, along with all of our other games. We are going to get started in just a moment. I just want to draw your attention down to the bottom, to the slow scroll there that explains how the domain dragons work. That's what all these little Waterdeep domain coins under Mike there. 7 of them, 6 of them, I can't count. 6 of them currently under Mike. Those allow us as players to re-roll a d20 roll and take the new roll, or to force the DM to re-roll. For just 500 bits or $5, you can purchase one of those and influence the stream in that small way. And that's where all of these come from, as well as raids, resubscriptions, new subscriptions, all that good kind of stuff. You know what? That's all I got. Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you so we can play some D&D.
Wow. You're not messing around.
I know.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, awesome. All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to All That Glitters. I'm excited to run tonight's session, not because I'm going to destroy all these players, but I just love playing this game. And for some reason, it really gets me excited for Mondays, and that's just never a thing. Like, that just goes against all of the forms of reality. But here we are. Now, we'll give ourselves we'll probably have a break at some point in time in the middle of the session. So we'll get a chance for all of these incredibly stupendous players to give us, basically get them to plug all their awesome things. And they have many awesome things, which is definitely something that you're going to want to check out. But in the meantime, I'm going to give one of these cats a chance to give us a recap of the last session for 1 point of inspiration.
Did you specifically say one of these cats because you wanted me to do it?
No, I no, that's actually a complete and utter, no, it's my old people speak. I think hip cats are a thing that us old fogies used to say.
I mean, I can do it if nobody else wants an inspiration. These are stacking up over here on my sheet.
Very true. You know, inspiration is a good thing. It can mean the difference between a TPK and everyone but you dying.
That's like pressuring. I don't know. Maybe. Kind of, sort of, possibly. I'll go to roll.
Do it.
Okay, so last week we started off with Anna basically having to deal with the fact that Lip decided to possess Six's body, wanting his apology. Surprisingly, Anna did a very good job at it too. However, Six had no idea he was possessed, so that was pretty funny. Then let's see, it also came to the fact that we were trying to determine who's going to end up where, decide to join with whom. So we met with Silvermane at the Yawning Portal to see what he had to offer, and he wanted to offer us the Lord's Alliance? What was it called? Something like that. So we all 4 turned it down one by one, but he did give a very noted look at Anna, talking about following her father's footsteps, loveliness like that. Of course, while people are walking out, Six took it upon himself to put on a little show, made some money while doing it. We had Bevyn and Anna getting a nice little piece of time together and talking about going to work with the Zentharum. Leave me alone. And let's see. From there, it ended up being that the party divided 2 by 2. I'm sorry about the phone. And it was Bevyn and Anna going to speak with the Zentharum, and then Six and Kiara going to a child's birthday party after stopping off to speak with, oh, what's his name? The guy who's going to be helping us redo the tavern. I'm drawing a blank. It was like Mick something or other.
Micken.
There we go. See, I had the Mick part right. So after stopping at Micken, telling him to go ahead with it, He was in a bind, needed a bard. Six is a bard. Six said, sure, of course, because it is Six. To top it off, not only was Six hired, but he got a costume out of it. And the costume was a very pretty, fluffy pink princess dress, to which he did a phenomenal job. Little girl was thrilled with her birthday party, as was Micken. And I think we were able to get it down to, instead of $1,000, it is now going to be $800 for the tavern to get a little facelift. And while that was happening, you had Bevyn and Anna also speaking with, I am blanking on the person that was their contact because I was kind of purposely not listening. About, thank you. So they were having their own little conversation about their first mission. When we got back, Kiara and Six to Nobody's Inn, we also met up with Three Strings, who gave us our first mission. And it's kind of lining up where we might be at slight odds with each other without even knowing, because you have the Harpers and the Zentarum. How's that?
That was awesome. Give yourself 1 point of inspiration.
All right, I'm going to take the phone off the hook too.
Sounds good. All right. Well, that being said, if there is any questions that anyone has, if there's any, and you guys have any questions just before we begin? All right, then. You have sealed your own fates. So, first thing I need is each one of you to roll me a d4. Everybody.
4. 3.
Okay.
1.
Awesome. So, Kiara, you are the first one to wake up. As the light kind of filters in, you kind of wake up stretching. You had a wonderful rest. Like, this bed that you're in is just incredible. A feather bed as opposed to hay or just a rough wooden slat as a bed. You wake up, and what would you like to do this fine morning?
Well, I did leave a little bit of reading material for Liff at the very end. I'm going to go up my little turret and see if he's enjoyed it and if he's got any other requests, because there might be better reading material. So I'll kind of get myself prepped and run upstairs and see if he's left any further messages on the note that we've started together.
As you go up into the turret, you see that the book is open to chapter 3, and that's book's just open. As far as the note, there's nothing on it.
Okay, then I'll probably head downstairs and I'll start getting breakfast pulled together.
Okay, and as you walk down to walk down out of the manor and around over to the tavern where your kitchen is, you see a woman standing at the front of the tavern, and she is flanked by 2 very serious looking individuals. Both of these men are wearing breastplates. They have long swords. Underneath their breastplates, they have what seems to be kind of leather shirts. They're not wearing helmets, but there is kind of an embossed, seems to be a sigil of a house, embossed onto the breastplate. They're both kind of looking around in that way that they're looking for any type of trouble to start. And this woman just kind of trying the door, knocking, and kind of looking. She's dressed in kind of what looks to be a kind of hunter's green doublet, a white collared undershirt, really nice, what looks to be almost very kind of tight calfskin pants, knee-high boots. She's dressed very, very nicely. She kind of she kind of looks around and she looks at the other two and she kind of turns and notices you for a moment. Oh, hello. Sorry, I was just wondering if the tavern was open.
Oh, not quite yet. We're still trying to get a few things in order before we actually open for business. Is there something you're looking for in particular? Maybe I could direct you to a different location for the time being?
Well, I mean, this is awkward. Was actually here to see one of the owners of the Nobody's Inn. I think that's what it's called. Very
Yes.
clever name.
Yes, that's what we'll be calling it. Well, I'm Kiara. I am one of the four. I have no problem waking up one of my co-owners if there's someone in particular you're looking for.
Oh, you're Bevyn's friend.
Yes.
Ah, yes. Hi, I'm Esvel. Esvel Rosnar, and she actually just kind of puts out her hand.
I'll extend my hand as well. It's very nice to meet you. Why don't you follow me back upstairs and you can wait in the common room while I go get him up then?
Certainly, yes. And she kind of grabs like she has a kind of a bag with her. I kind of got something. Well, it was for Bevyn, but it's kind of for the four of you. A gift, a tavern warming gift. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that like do people do that?
This is my first tavern, so I'm not sure of the traditions, but I certainly won't say no to friends bearing packages.
Great, wonderful. It's going to cost, but well, let's go. And she kind of begins to walk up. I'd like both Six and Bevyn to roll. Actually, nah. Bevyn, you wake up next. I'm not gonna be that cruel. Bevyn, you wake up next. Your eyes you kind of hear the door open and close from downstairs, and kind of rouses you out of your slumber, which was quite the peaceful sleep.
Can I head upstairs to his room?
I mean,
I'm just gonna knock on the door lightly. Bevyn, get up. You have a friend, a certain lady here to see you. If I say it any louder, Six is going to be on this like a cat on tuna.
Right. Be right down. Give me a couple minutes.
Of course, I'll stall.
So I'll hop up, scuffle off to the bathroom, just kind of wash up a little bit, throw on my tunic and robe or hood for the day, and head downstairs. So,
and as you come downstairs, you see Esvel sitting there with a couple, I guess, what looks to almost be like household retainers or some form of guard behind her. She stands up immediately and walks over to you very eagerly and hi.
oh. So Bevyn's going to kind of keep a specific distance. If she gets too close, he kind of backs off a little bit, tries to be kind of cordial with her. Morning, Lady Rosnar. I wasn't expecting to see you this morning.
I had some business with our vintner, and I thought maybe I could come here and see you, and I would like to bring a house tavern warming gift.
You aren't by any chance a little peckish, are you? I was about to prepare breakfast for everyone. I can zip down and get it pulled together for you and your two friends as well.
Well, that's actually what I was. Actually, that's part of the gift. And she kind of reaches into her bag and she pulls out this like really intricate, kind of dark wood box. And on the front of the box, it looks to be leaded glass with what appears to be like kind of like in a kind of diamond pattern glass in front. And she sets the box down and she kind of opens it up. And she says, I would like to purchase an egg. I would like my egg fried with a nice golden yolk on top. If you could keep it liquidy, that would be lovely.
Well, considering we're not quite open yet and we need to make sure we're on the up and up with the guilds, perhaps I'm just making breakfast for friends right now.
No, I think I trust me. I think it'll be okay.
I'm going to shoot Bevyn a look. Like, you okay with this?
So Bevyn's just going to kind of nod, and so this is a. Can we tell what this box is? Is it just a?
It's an intricately carved, really nice looking darkwood box. If if you wanted like I guess in a real world example, it would look very much like a shadow box.
Okay.
Well, I'll be right back with that. It's just the one egg done as requested. A little
Yes,
runny,
please.
nicely yellow.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
All right, give me a couple minutes and I'll return. And I'll scoot off.
Lady Rosnar, this is unexpected.
I know. Maybe I wanted to come down and see you. And the two guards kind of exchange glances behind her, like to each other, that like very sideways glance. I mean, it was on the way, kind of. And they exchange more glances, like, kind of behind.
I just kind of toe at the box. What's this? This buys a lot more than an egg.
No. You'll see. Everything will make sense in just a moment. I've noticed that there's really not a lot of trust. Like, people just don't trust each other anymore. Just trust me. Everything will make sense in a moment.
I have to say, in my line of work, there's not much trust to be given, but things have gone so well between you and I so far, so.
Well, I like to think so.
Trust it'll be.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear. But yes, I had it was a very strange morning, and I thought that, when we went down to the vintners, the tall, quiet one and the equally tall, silent one, we went down to speak to them, and apparently one of our casks have been stolen. Anyway, I just thought the entire thing was rather strange, and, well, I guess, I received some sort of a strange note, and she kind of pulls out this note, and it's kind of scrawled, like it's not really written nicely in any way, shape, or form. It's scrawled very kind of messily, and she hands you the note, and it just says, advantage BV. In other words, Bravo Victor. And then it says, underneath it says, the game continues whether you wish to play or not. Bevyn. And I thought maybe you might know something about it.
So Bevyn immediately is it anything that directly relates it to the note that was he found with the brooch? So match.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make if you wanted to make a investigation check, you can maybe try and see if you can line up the writing.
18.
Yeah. There's like some subtle differences in in kind of the whirls and some of the writing, but it almost matches up like exactly.
Hmm. Interesting. You say this was found when they took your cask?
Yes, and I've heard of this BV, this, and she kind of like looks around and looks back to her guards kind of like put their heads down a little bit. The Black Viper.
Yes,
A thief.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a thief of great renown. I have heard that he is one of the most proficient and dangerous thieves in all of Waterdeep.
Yes, I've heard the name a few times myself. This isn't the first time that I've received a note from him. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but doesn't seem he wants to leave me alone. Did your people see anything else?
Apparently, this Black Viper went in and out so fast that no one had seen them work.
And is there anything else you know about this Viper?
Only that they target nobles. So far, there have been several thefts, mostly burglaries or people being held up, mostly by rapier point. Matter of fact, I do believe, if memory serves me correctly, I think even House Castellanta even had their villa broken into, and no one ever steals from the Castellantas.
It's definitely something that's going to take some looking into. I'll discuss this with my associates, and I think we need to figure out what's going on. But if you see anything else, if anything else happens with for anybody around you, you just need to let me know.
I hope so. If you're able to find the cask, that would be good, because it is our prized cask. It is the one that we wish to enter into the wine competition this year. It's really important, and the prize purse alone is enough to, well, it might really help my family out.
I'll see what I can do. But where are those damn eggs?
Yeah, and I think at this point,
I'm coming in. There's a plate that has the egg that's like perfectly cooked as she has requested, and there's another plate with other eggs, and they're not so good because Kiara is not really used to cooking. So I'll present the egg that came out just right, and the others I'm just going to put to the side and be like, okay, anyone else want them? You can have them.
She sits like down and basically like grabs and starts eating, and it takes her all of like 5 seconds to consume an egg, and she kind of grabs, and she kind of makes a bit of a show of it. She grabs a cloth napkin and kind of flicks it out, and then kind of spins it with one hand so it's just around her finger, and she just kind of gently dabs at the kind of corners of her mouth, and she kind of whirls it down, and even was able to like whirl it down into kind of a nice little, like a very attractive looking little pile. She said, "Well, that was the most scrumptious egg I have ever had. I declare that the Nobody's Inn is clearly the most phenomenal tavern and wonderful restaurant I have ever had the pleasure of eating at." And she reaches into kind of her coin purse, and she pulls out a golden dragon, and she sets it down in the box, and she kind of closes it. And she looks right at you, Bevyn, not really looking at anyone else. Well, I guess the two of you, as Six hasn't woken up yet. There. Your first dragon you have earned as a tavern. We don't necessarily have to say that, it's sentimental and it's foolish and I'm a dumb little girl, but here. And she kind of slides the box over to you. Maybe you could hang it up or something.
That's quite thoughtful.
That's actually very kind of you. I know this tradition. This is to give us good luck, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's unfortunately it's not a Timora blessed dragon, but or even a coin of Timora, but
well, that I can address easily for us. But Timora's blessings upon you for thinking so considerately of our tavern.
Thank you. So she kind of stands up. Well, I have many things to look into and go, but thank you for a lovely egg, Lady Kiara, and I wish you all the best. Right. Come, you two great hulking oafs. We have much work to do. And she kind of turns around and smiles. It kind of does the backward smile at the two of you and kind of walks out with the two kind of guards in tow. Six, you have had the greatest sleep of your life. And you've had quite a few really good sleeps. But this one ranks at least top 2, maybe even the best. As your eyes slowly open up, you stretch in that really weird way that cats do that's just kind of disturbing and yet kind of cute, but kind of unnerving. And what would you like to do?
I get up, take care of some typical morning routine stuff, and then I open up where I've started to unpack a little bit, and I pull out a small kit from inside my pack, and there's a mirror in there. There's some different types of makeup, combs, brushes, wigs, and I look through some of my various implements and spend a good few minutes putting some coloring into the fur that makes up the top of my head to kind of make it look a sort of as close as I can get to a reddish color. And I'm combing it in a very particular way. I pick out from one of my costumes a slightly darker clothing and eventually make my way downstairs to the inn where before I walk in, I look in to get a good look at Bevyn and then look in the reflection in the glass and make a slight adjustment so that my hair matches, and then I walk in. Good morning, everyone. I trust you all slept well.
Yes, you?
I did. I spent some time in the library studying books, because that's what I do. And I'm walking with a sort of exaggerated version of how Bevyn walks.
So, Bevyn's going to, sitting at the table, he's just going to shake his head and look right at Six and just push his mug to the edge of the table very slowly. And then right off the edge of the table.
I'm going to try to grab it.
I'm standing there just sort of like watching with like an amused grin and an eyebrow arched and kind of just watching this play out.
All right, make me a dex.
Yeah, that's an 11.
All right. As it falls, your hand comes up and it kind of hits it, so it kind of like tips it, but you just manage to like quickly shoot your hand back and grab it. It was clumsy, but you did manage to just catch it.
Well played, Catman.
I do my
What
best,
happened today?
man.
Is there
Anna.
something you'll be doing? Is making us all look like you, or you look like us?
I don't know what you're talking about. I could have sworn I heard somebody say something about tuna.
Well, if it's a matter of having a particular thing that you like to eat, tuna seem to be the best choice at the moment. I'll go get Anna.
Actually, Anna is not in her room, though you can go and attempt to go get her. Anna, you wake up to the smell of a breakfast very similar to the ones that your compatriots are having. As you wake up in the kind of very Spartan room, it's basically a kind of just a straw stuffed bed. There's like kind of like one little kind of like a small desk with a chair and a small wardrobe, and that's pretty much it in this entire room. But as you wake up, you see on the on the desk a plate with some eggs, a little bit of bacon, a little bit of sausage, some beans, and some toast. Just kind of a nice all around. Actually, that's about as Scottish breakfast as you can get, with the exception of there's no blood sausage or anything. But you wake up just to this whole smell of breakfast. Like it's just like all of a sudden it just enwraps you in this whole being, much more than that threadbare blanket that you were sleeping with last night was keeping you warm.
So Anna would sit up, and the smallest of grins would kind of come across her face as she looks at the plate in front of her, and she would get dressed and just kind of sit just for a moment, just kind of enjoying the silence and the quiet as she just eats. And when she's done, she will actually bring out her dishes.
As you pull up the dishes, you see a small note. The note is from Nizma, who says, I'm sorry I'm not here. I'm sorry I left you this breakfast. I had to go and do some prayers for some other people at the plinth, which you would know, and actually anyone else would know, is another kind of shrine to all the gods, especially the ones who don't have their own temples or churches or anything like that. So yeah, as you get up, you notice that there's like a few people kind of coming in and praying. They seem to be the type that are either on pilgrimages or they're just kind of passing through Waterdeep, either north or south. And they seem to be praying to like kind of like, again, a set of pews, and then kind of an altar that is, it seems almost like kind of a small stele. If you've ever seen that, like a small obelisk or something. And there's just like symbols etched all throughout. It almost looks chaotic, all the different symbols, but they're all symbols to lesser known gods and even demigods and even some heroes, all throughout the obelisk.
She's kind of chewing on the last piece of bread as she goes, and I'm sure she's been there a few times, so she knows where to put the dishes and all that kind of thing. Like cleans a bump in the basin and so on, and she turns to leave, but she sees, I can almost imagine that she sees a broom in the corner, and she kind of turns away, but then she stops. She goes back and she takes it, and she does what Nizma had asked her last night, was to sweep up just some of the area, and she actually does that. And
you do, and as you're you're kind of cleaning up and everything else. You know, a few of the patrons of the Holy Hands house, you know, some of them are exiting their rooms and coming out, and some of them are even like they're bowing to you as if you help work here and you help here. You know, they bow to you and they go, and you see a few of them approach, and some of them like they touch individual areas of the stele or the obelisk, just to like, that's, you know, praying to you, I'm praying to you, I'm praying to you. And there's one individual kind of stops, and their hood is kind of drawn up, like really, you can't even see their face. And they kind of stop. There's a table near where you're kind of sweeping up, and they kind of drop something near you on the table, and they just kind of walk away.
She would take it and she would turn. Sir, you drop this.
You don't even see who it was. You can't even see that person, that individual with the cowl. Everyone else has their hoods down, but you can't even see the person who had their hood up.
Yeah, and she kind of trails off, and she kind of looks around, and she looks down at this piece of paper.
It's not a piece of paper. It's actually it looks to be a folded cloth. But as you unroll it, it appears to be a cloth mask. But a very strange one at that. Like, it feels like it conforms to your hand. And as you kind of hold it out, it seems to like almost solidify. And as you kind of like looking it over, it almost seems to want to like go towards your face.
She is looking at it, and I can imagine there's this moment where the camera kind of, or from her perspective, everything else blurs around her, and it's only this mask, and she feels it drawing, and she brings it up, and she brings up, and then she just kind of shakes her head, and she's going to stuff it in her pouch and leave, heading back to the tavern.
All right. So as you exit Holy Hand's house, you know the way. It's not terribly far. It's probably about a good 10-minute, 15-minute brisk walk. As I bring up the map for no particular reason. Yeah, so it doesn't take long. Matter of fact, sure enough, as soon as you get to the corner of Delzorin and Windborn, you can already hear the hammering of steel on steel, and also you can hear again the hammering of the bent nail, Tally Fellbranch, grinding wood and making his furniture actually, you even end up seeing, as you walk past, the one sort of, it seems to be a shop, but it's just a sign with two golden cat eyes. You see an individual walking out. He is dressed very, very finely, in kind of what looks to be kind of almost like a suit. He kind of steps out, and he's holding this kind of very, very thin clay pipe. As he kind of taps it out on his boot, puts in a little bit more tobacco. He actually like shaves off kind of a block of tobacco and kind of stuffs it in and lights it. And he's kind of holding, and he's sitting there, and he kind of, as you walk by, he kind of looks at you, and he kind of lifts up his pipe and kind of nods his head, and he goes back to smoking.
Anna has never been one to, like, when people look at her and nod their head, she never really knows what to do. So she does this kind of half smile, half grimace look, but she continues walking.
And as you walk away, this human says, "I understand," and turns around and just goes back into his house.
She just kind of shakes her head, kind of keeping that shop in her mind and the guy, but she wants to head back to the tavern.
And you do. 3 seconds later, there you are, and as you walk up the stairs, door opens, and you can see the other 3 members of your party sitting around, kind of sopping up the rest of breakfast. And what would the 3 of you be chatting about in that time? Besides
Sure, we're
making
just
fun of
listening
each
to
other.
Six talk at this point.
I was going to
Okay.
say, I think Six is kind of regaling us with what happened the night before more than anything else. And I wouldn't be the one to bring up our previous visitor for the sake of Bevyn's not being, teased by Six.
Yeah, I think as Anna comes in, you would hear as Six is somehow managing. I somehow managed to put food in my mouth and still talk clearly at the same time. And that's not the last time I wore a dress.
You mean there were other times?
Don't humans wear dresses all the time?
Well, some do, some don't. It all depends on their preference, I suppose. But it's just an interesting idea of you in many dresses. Various reasons. Especially because you were so entertaining last night in your pretty, pretty pink puffy one.
And I kind of forget my attempt at impersonating Bevyn at this point. Are you suggesting that I did not look good in my pink puffy dress?
Darling, you look fabulous in it.
Because I
What's
know
to
for a
say?
fact that I was wearing that dress, as they say.
You looked fantastic, and you made a little girl very, very happy and a father very, very satisfied to our advantage. So, trust me. Well done, sir. Well done.
Speaking of happy little girls, hello, Anna.
Anna comes up and she's gonna take something from Six's plate, whether that's a piece of bread or a piece of bacon or something, and she's just gonna take it. And she kind of crouches onto an empty chair. You were saying something about a pink dress. What did I miss?
You missed Six in a dress last night.
Like I said, it's not the first time. You had to be there.
Oh, it was wonderful. As one who was there, it was wonderful.
All right.
You know, in some cities, it is there are entire performances that are performed. All of the roles are performed by children. Sometimes they are all performed by dwarves. Sometimes they are all performed by elves. Sometimes they are all performed by... I once saw a show that was entirely performed by mermaids. The weird part is they were all playing Aarakocra.
That's a new one.
Six,
Yes.
turn around.
I start doing that thing where, like, is something on me? And I turn around.
Like, turn away from the table just for a minute.
What? Where? What?
While Six is kind of distracted, Anna quickly whips out this mask and she would give it to Kiara.
You ass.
I'll quickly pocket it so he doesn't see it as he's turning back around and just kind of wink at Anna.
All right. Sorry.
It did look like you had something on the back of your shoulder, I will say. Maybe it was just a dust bunny or something.
You know, Anna, if you had been here this morning, you could have your own plate of food, and you would not have to be taking all of my food.
Yours tastes just fine. Less cat hair than I would have thought.
I just look you in the face and hold my plate up with what's left on it, like one egg and a piece of bacon, and just go and set it down and walk away.
Well, eggs are good for the coat, I've heard.
I'm going to go back upstairs and wash this ridiculous red dye out of my hair. It is so difficult for a tabaxi to try to look like a human.
I
Well-
can't think of why. Can't
No
see.
clue. No.
No.
While Six is gone, Anna would look at Kiara. So, this person just left this, and I had an itch. No, not an itch. I felt like I needed to put it on.
Just the mask? That's all it was left behind?
It was in a cloth, and when I opened it, it was just poof.
Did you do anything when you held it?
No, I didn't, but I had an awful bad feeling to put it on. And if you know me, you know I don't like masks.
I don't blame you, and good for you for practicing restraint with this one. I'm going to take it out and give it a close look. Do I notice anything about it?
Well, you notice that it's basically just a kind of a cloth triangle, but as you hold it, it's weird. It seems to want to to attach itself and like kind of like form fit to your face, but it's trying, but it can't. Like as much as it seems like it's hitting a wall and then going limp, and then trying again and going limp.
Well, this is odd. It doesn't want to attach to me. And I'm just going to, like, by nature, turn to Bevyn and hold it up towards him to see what it does.
And it wants to. It kind of like reaches. It almost like it reaches out. It's just like this little cloth triangle kind of wants to reach out and attach itself.
Well, it
Bevyn's
seems to have
immediately
a-
going to put his hand up in between his face and the cloth.
It seems to have a
Weird,
certain
right?
function. Very weird. Very specifically weird, but you do have much in common, don't you?
I was thinking maybe we could sell it.
I don't know. I mean, if something was dropped by you, it might have a specific purpose for being dropped by you. I'm going to run upstairs for a little bit, and perhaps the two of you should discuss this together, since it seems to have something going on between both of you.
Now, just before you do leave, now you wanted to inspect it though, right? Like you wanted to like really have a look at it.
Yeah.
All right, so you do notice a few bits of symbology on the kind of like, I guess what would be kind of the inside. Make me a knowledge religion check.
That's going to be a 15.
Okay. So you have seen this sort of symbology before, and it's kind of from a god that doesn't really click well with yours, which kind of gets in your mind as to why it wants to attach itself, but it can't. And this is the god Mask. And Mask, as you know, is the god of thieves. And any thief worth their salt, good thieves, evil thieves, and yeah, there's good thieves apparently. All of them will basically either kind of do a little kind of quick prayer to Mask, but mostly this god has fallen by the wayside as a god that very few individuals kind of like openly pray to, because theft is bad and it's against the law, and praying to a god that is all about against the law is, well, it's bad. So.
Oh, and before I go, just those symbols, that's for the god mask. Just something I've learned in my own travels with Temora. Discuss amongst yourselves. I need to freshen up and get ready for the day.
So Anna, tell me a little bit more about what happened when you found this.
Well, there's not much to tell. There was a hooded figure, came up to me, put it on the table. I turned around to try and do something good for once, but it was gone. And this...
A hooded figure, you say? Seem to be popping up a lot lately. Something's going on. I don't know what it is. I told you about the lady I met the other day.
Yeah.
The whole reason I met her was because I ran into a hooded figure in the market, and he seems to have popped up again yesterday. I don't know if it's the same one, but you've heard of you've heard tell of this Black Viper. He seems to be popping up in our circles. I don't know if he's looking for us or warning us off, but
Have I ever heard of the Black Viper?
I'll tell you what, actually, yeah, I would say that, like, even if running in any criminal underworld group, you would have heard of this individual. No one knows what their name is. No one knows gender or anything. They just know the Black Viper has been ingrained into Waterdeep history for over 100 years. Everyone's always known, like, the Black Viper is like the super thief boogeyman or boogie person that is going to come and take all of your stuff. And I mean, even so much as, like, criminal parents tell their criminal kids, like you better not act up, or the Black Viper is going to come and steal all your stuff.
So it's kind of like something that has gone into kind of myth, kind of that.
While it has, there has been a resurgence of individuals being robbed by, and especially nobles, by some so-called Black Viper. Whether it's the same one or a different one, is it the infamous Bart Roberts that has just been passed down from name to name? You don't know.
Oh. What did the hooded figure, did he give you a mask too?
no, be honest, I thought he tried to pickpocket me, but he actually left a brooch in my pocket. And the brooch belonged to that lady I met. And this morning she came by again, and he stole something from her, and he left me this, and I'll hand her the note.
She would look at it, like her brows just furrowing. So, should one of us put on the mask? Is that smart?
I want to just take a look at it and see if I can tell any kind of if there's any kind of, like, evil intentions or any kind of darkness around it, if it's just a sentient piece of cloth.
I mean, if you have the spell detect good and evil, which I kind of don't really think you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah. It's a cloth.
I mean, we both know about mask. It's not really something I've put much thought into, but it seems to want us for something. Give it a try.
All right. But if I start anything different, like complimenting Six or anything like that,
I'll
please
stab you right fast.
Great. Thanks. And she's going to slowly put on the mask.
And the mask kind of conforms like very quickly. It wraps and just kind of wraps and sits there in a way that, just like a bandana would sit around your face, except it kind of tucks in. And you're now carrying a xenomorph child. No, I'm kidding. As it kind of like goes around your face in such a way that kind of only your eyes are really are showing. You see, Bevyn, the mask begins to kind of almost meld and disappear into the pores of her skin. And you're not wearing that mask anymore. You don't really feel it.
Anna would slowly just like touch her face and look at Bevyn. What happened?
It's gone. What? I don't know. It's gone. And I'll just kind of like try and like reach up to touch her face, but then quickly pull my hand away. How do you feel about Six? And I pull my knife out.
Nobody ever likes my bards.
He's still a sword dancing twat, so everything's good.
I'll put my knife away. Well, I guess we'll figure out at some point what I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be hurting you.
All right, well, might just be some sick prank, but have you told Six and Kiara about our little mission?
I haven't yet. Hadn't really come up. We've been busy dealing with other stuff this morning, but I do want to get over there pretty soon. See if anything happened last night.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll go ask them, and if they don't want to, then we'll let out.
Works for me.
So
I'll start picking up the remains of breakfast and cleaning up while she takes off.
Okay. So Anna would go up and I think knock on Kiara's door first.
Sure. The one thing, just before you do, for like both Bevyn and Anna, you remember Davil mentioning that these occurrences happened at night when these individuals were, killed. So, through massive head loss. Yeah, that's just to let you know that that did happen at night. It is the morning, probably getting on around like 9 a.m. or so.
All right. So maybe we would talk and see if we can go maybe in the later afternoon, just to be able to ask some of the fishermen if they saw everything and then waiting into the night. Does that sound good?
I was thinking we'd go just ask around to see if anything happened, but just asking in the afternoon and then waiting around won't hurt either. So,
right. So yeah, she would go up and knock on Kiara's door.
It's open.
It's me.
Yes, come in. You all right?
Yeah, fine. So, Bevyn and I, last night, we found a job.
Did you know? And what's the job?
Well, there are some deaths occurring, and they offered a reward for anyone who can find out who's been doing the deathing, killing.
So, a bounty on a murderer?
Right, yeah. One of those.
We certainly aren't in a position to turn down money now, are we? Especially if we can figure it out for ourselves and get the reward.
Right.
That is
So-
if you wanted our help. I mean, I'm not going to assume.
Well, I wouldn't ask if I didn't want it. So,
Did you ask 6 yet?
no, not yet, but I will.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure that he was part of the agreement.
He can be a distraction if we need.
But his heart's in the right place. Trust me, after what I saw last night, he's got a genuine heart of gold and the patience of a saint.
Right. So we're thinking of leaving around afternoon, evening-ish, because the murders have been happening at night. So
Well, that makes the most sense then, doesn't it? That gives us the day to get a few things taken care of. We've arranged to start getting things pulled together for the tavern. We did get a $200 discount thanks to his amazing performance, so that's to our advantage. But I was going to hopefully try and get a few things picked up in the tavern before they got over here, since we might be looking at something of a time constraint. We had an interesting interaction with one of Six's old friends, but perhaps he'd best tell that because I have a feeling he'd want to.
Anna just kind of like closes her eyes for a moment and just kind of nods.
Deep breaths. I know, deep breaths. Happy thoughts.
At least we're leaving in the afternoon.
Yes. It only gives him about 5 hours or so to regale us in the news.
All right. And Anna would just kind of nod and just kind of back out of the door.
You know you're welcome in here anytime.
Thanks. And she's going to go talk to Six.
All right.
She kind of like goes right up to the door and she kind of takes a breath. She knocks. Are you going to keep me waiting or what?
I open the door with a dramatic, "What can I do for you?"
We're all going down to look for some murderers who want to come. Sorry.
Wait, what? We're looking for murderers.
Right, that's what I said. Looking for murderers.
Sure. Why not?
All right, it's down by the pier. We're leaving around later afternoonish. They do their killings at night, so we want to maybe be there.
As one does. Where exactly are these murders happening?
Was it by the docks? Is that right? It's by
Yeah,
the...
it's in the dock ward.
Ward.
Yeah.
All right. In the dock ward, they beheading them.
That sounds very gruesome. It just so happens that Kiara and I have need to stop along the way. On the way to the docks wards, I think we would like to stop in the trade ward. We have an interest in a horse.
All right.
Oh, don't
Don't
give me
think-
that look. You just came in here and said, "Do you want to go looking for murders?"
I just had the weirdest vision of you riding a horse. Sorry.
What is so weird about me riding a horse? They are much faster than I am.
Never mind. Oh, fine. All right. But then murderers, because then if we catch them, we get money, which is good.
There's a possibility we could get money from the horse. You should just come with. We'll see how this is going to play out, what is going to happen, and we maybe learn some things, we maybe get some coin, we maybe go find some murderers.
Right. Sounds like a full day. And then Anna would turn to leave.
That's not awkward at all. So I assume all of you kind of get up to speed with each other and begin to set out for your day. And your first stop is in the trade wards to try and find a horse in the trade wards that talks. This is going to be a great place where we're going to have our break. So you guys can figure out how you broach speaking to a horse to find out if it talks.
But no one can talk to a horse, of course.
And you lost your inspiration. All right, I'm gonna zip out, but I want these four amazing folks to give you guys the skinny on all of the great things that they're doing, because they're all great people and they all do great things. So I'll be right back in time indeterminate.
All right. You just want to take a break now and then do that when we come back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
That works.
All right. Let's
Yep.
do that. We will be back in just a few minutes. Less than 10, but more than 3. So we'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Please hang tight. In the meantime, head over to redbubble.com/people/mtd-jake/shop and check out the t-shirts and merchandise, of which Megan is wearing one, a Jolt of Personality sweatshirt. One of the several designs you can find there. We'll see you back in just a few minutes. And we're back.
All right. As you begin your journey through the trade wards, you see carriages, drays. You see different wagons going all over the place, all pulled by horses or mules or slightly more exotic animals. At one point, you do see what looks to be a very stunning looking carriage that is pulled by this massive creature with a kind of exceptionally long nose and these two large tusks kind of protruding from it. And not all of you have ever seen an elephant. However, this is sometimes, possibly for one or two of you, your very first time. This large kind of slow lumbering beast as it kind of moves through, decorated in all manner of different ways, kind of its nose kind of like painted, and its ears kind of like done up really, really nicely. And it's just a large, like, this truly is the city of splendors, and you can see why. You know, there are people from half of, like, all across the Sword Coast, and even as far east as the Dales, and even more so. So as you kind of begin to look, you know, you see a lot of like carts and carriages, and you see a lot of horses just standing there.
As we start walking through there, every horse that we walk by, I just go, "Psst, Maxine."
All right.
And if there's no response, I go on as we walk by a new horse. "Psst, Maxine."
Okay.
Have they told us what we're doing here?
No, they haven't.
No, I told Anna that Kiara and I, wrong game. Kiara and I were interested in a horse. And that's probably as much as we told Bevyn.
Not that it's the talking horse.
It's on the way.
Are you a horse whisperer now, as well as a sword whisperer? I'm confused.
He said we were looking for a horse, Anna, not a smartass. Psst, Maxine.
All right. Make me an investigation check.
Ooh. Just unplugged my mic. There we go. All right. Investigation. Yep, that seems about right. With a -1 to my intelligence investigation, that would be a 1.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I imagine at this point, I'm standing next to the elephant, which I have never before seen in my life, and just assume it's a very unique breed of horse, perhaps one of these drays. And I'm standing right in front of it going, "You have got to be Maxine. Please tell me you are Maxine."
I will say that a dray is not a type of horse. A dray is a type of cart. Kind of think of it like a carriage, but it's basically a convertible. It's got no top. Generally has like a few bench seating kind of in the back.
Look, I don't think Six knows that. I think Six is looking for a horse.
Fair.
And thinking it's a dray.
Fair. You go up to the elephant as it's kind of like it stops for just a moment. And as you say, Maxine, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Now this I can do. No, I cannot. Saving throw? Okay, well, 14.
Okay. As you kind of like get up close to it and whisper its name, you kind of spook the creature a little, and it kind of swats at you with its trunk. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as this kind of muscular trunk just kind of whacks you upside the head, and it kind of like carries on. There's an individual on the back. "Watch where you're going, you idiot!" And it kind of, and it kind of starts to continue on.
Bevyn turns to kind of just tugs on Kiara's shoulder. Are we looking for something? Is there something that I can help with?
We're looking for a particular horse with certain talents. Do you know how to speak to a horse? Or do you know of a horse that will speak to you? I know it sounds very odd. We're looking for a horse that talks.
Okay.
I didn't say it was the most logical quest, and considering my companion in this quest speaking to an elephant, this may take a little bit.
Yeah. This is just way too out in the open and brazen and weird for Bevyn. So he's gonna kind of pull his hood up and slink off into the corner and just move alongside the group as they're heading through.
Oh, I see. The human can't handle a talking horse, but has no problem traveling with a talking cat.
Well, everyone's allowed their limitations, and I think it has less to do with the talking and more to do with the oddity of it all. But that was not a horse. You do know that.
And how about
Of
the rest
course,
of
I
you?
know that was not a horse. I was thinking maybe a new Maxine. It has a higher. It's taller. It can see further.
We'll go with that. Sure.
And how about the rest of you? Are you going to all be talking to random horses?
No, I think I'm going to be looking for someone who looks like they're knowledgeable of the area.
Wait a minute. What? I just turned to Cantria. Or dang it, Kiaria. Dang it,
I'll answer the
Kiaria,
bell.
and say, wait a minute. Did Three Things said something about the dung sweepers killed? Maybe we should be looking for the poop.
So follow the trail? Or follow the ones who follow the trails?
That seems like maybe. I don't know how dung sweeping works.
I'm not entirely familiar with it, but I do believe that they need to sweep up after the animals have eliminated.
I mean, I poop in the sandbox.
Yes, lucky us. Well, I suppose we could ask where the dung masters are?
It's not hard to find them. They have brooms and shovels. You see a few of them like just in small, like smaller carts. You can smell them before you see them because it's just an open cart filled with horse crap. They come along like kind of every hour or two, just kind of like coming along and like just picking it up. A couple like are rushing out. One of them's kind of moving the horse very, very slowly on the edge, while a few of them kind of run out in between traffic, start shoveling and getting it kind of into this really large, stinky kind of cart.
Well, I could always ask someone doing the job right now if you'd want to.
So aren't we supposed to be talking to the horse, though? About the horse that's pulling the cart. Hold
You
on.
want to see?
I'll go up to the horse that's pulling a poop cart and just kind of casually walk by. Yo, Maxine.
Says nothing.
I'm going to go up to one of the sweepers. By any chance, would you know someone by the name of Maxine?
And one of them kind of like stops for a second. Who?
Maxine.
No. Hang on.
Oh.
And he calls out to his kind of coworker. Bram, do we know a Maxine in the Dung Sweepers Guild? And, you kind of send her, no, I don't think so. There's Spetum, but he's an halfling. Is that who you're looking for?
Actually, it's a horse by the name of Maxine. Sorry for the confusion.
Don't know. I mean, what does this horse look like? I mean, there's probably 10,000 horses in Waterdeep.
Well, this would be a very special horse. I don't suppose you have one that's very good at communicating with others, by any chance.
I think it's a dray.
At this point, Bram is kind of walking up. Wait, a special horse?
Yes, called Maxine. Pulls or has something to do with drays.
Pulls a dray. Well, I mean, there's plenty of drays around here, and he starts pointing out different drays, these different kind of like carts and whatnot. And the Bram there comes up and, what's so special about her then?
Well, if I said she'd talk, so that help?
And all of a sudden, Bram like drops his shovel and claps his hand. I knew it. See, I told you. Right, listen. There was this one dray, and we was going right behind it, yeah? And we was cleaning up after it. And this dapple grey horse, I swear, and I knew it. And he's pointing at the other guy. I knew it. I cleans up after the horse, yeah? And I swears the horse said, thank you.
Well, at least she's polite.
And his coworker's like, no, don't listen to him. He's drunk most nights. It's probably not even true.
Well, I mean, there are other creatures who don't exactly look like your fellow man who speak, and I'm going to kind of like tilt my head towards the tabaxi. Stranger things have been known to occur. This dappled grey, where do you normally see her pulling her tray?
Oh, she's usually along this road. And he's kind of looking like left and right. And actually, let me see something here. Oh, he's like, there it is. And he kind of points just not even like half a block up. You just see one of the drays kind of just parked there. And there's a dapple gray mare, and it seems to be like a black horse right beside it. That's the one there.
Wonderful. How lucky that I stopped you and asked you this, because you've saved us some time. Anytime more, I'll be with you today for your assistance.
And he kind of waves and goes back to doing what they do best.
Well, Six, if you want to say hello to Maxine, I believe that is her, the dappled grey, over there standing next to the black horse.
I will head right over there.
All right. So as you approach the horse, you see that the driver of the dray is kind of engaged in conversation with someone kind of over there. And the horse is just kind of whinnying a bit, like kind of shaking her mane and kind of nodding, eating some oats in a bag, in a feeder, like kind of in a little, instead of a feeder bag, this seems to be more of like a small trough that's kind of attached to the cart to allow the horses to eat and drink.
I'm going to walk alongside the horse, pacing it. Given these other two guys' reaction to a talking horse, and just kind of casually, are you Maxine?
And for a moment, there's nothing.
I say, are you the talking horse called Maxine?
No, there's no Maxines here. You must have got yourself the wrong horse. And she goes back to eating oats. I'm role-playing a talking horse is what I've become.
So, you're not Maxine, but you are a talking horse.
Well, I didn't say that now. I could be any sort of horse that seems to know common. And you are?
My name is 6 Days Into Summer. I'm here with my associates. A friend of mine by the name of Three String sent us to come talk to you. He said that you would be the one to talk to perhaps give us some information.
I've never seen you before. Wouldn't be polite to just give out information to just anyone.
Well, I've introduced myself.
Yes, well, sometimes people need a little bit of slight encouragement. I'm going to move a fold of my skirt and show a pin of our harp.
Oh, yes. I forgot. And I will move my lapel to show mine as well.
Well, right. I guess you're them then. Well, I was pulling, and we had 2 passengers in here. We had a sun elf and a half orc. And then she kind of reaches down and kind of like starts like crunching some oats. And you see, turns out they were talking about getting some spies or something to root out some Xanathar guild. Well, I rode them all the way down to Yawning Portal. And, I think that's pretty much about it. I think they were talking about being Zentarum, if you know what I'm saying.
So a sun elf and an half orc.
Half-orc lady. She was quite an angry one, that one. And this sun elf, well, he was quite the braggart. It was strange, though. When they first came onto the cart, he was a human in full black plate mail, and he was a big, strong-looking fella. But then he changed. Don't know how. Probably with magic. She goes back and she takes another mouthful of oats.
Well, that's very interesting information. Anything else that you noted that was unusual?
Oh, not really. I would say that, oh, wait. No, I'd say that's about it. Are you...
Something jogged your memory.
They both seemed, well, they were both talking in real hushed tones, so it was quite hard to hear them. But that's what they did look like. A human in black plate mail turned into an elf, and a great big woman half-orc, and she was quite strong. A lot of scars. She had quite a hefty bruise on her face. Must have gotten into a fight recently.
That's not something that would clear up quickly either, would it?
No, must have been at least, a few days old.
So we probably have about another few days left.
When was it that this all took place?
Well, this would have been 2 days ago.
And you said the Yawning Portal?
Mm-hmm. And then you hear, hey, that horse is not to be talking to. You're not going to try and steal that.
No, I was going to give it an apple. And I pull an apple out from my pocket.
The only person to be feeding that horse is me.
Oh, I can't give it an apple?
On your way. And the driver just kind of points.
All right.
Thanks, Maxine.
I'm going to roll the apple on the ground towards her and kind of like kick it with my foot.
And Maxine just wrote down and just wolfs it right down in one bite. The driver goes around and kind of pets her, and you can tell he's talking like, "Oh, you all right, girl? You all right? They scare you." Yeah, that's the information that you glean.
Well, we have found our horse, and we found out about, well, not just a man. I think we should go and carry on and help the others with their quest in this matter.
In the meantime, we need to be on the lookout for a large human in black full plate armor that could also look like a sun elf, and a bruised half-orc lady.
Something tells me the latter will be easier than the former.
But, I mean, Three Strings, he just wanted us to talk to the horse and get the information. That may be enough, too. I mean...
Well, we could always deliver a message.
Although, I mean, if there are only the two of them, there are four of us. If things get a little crazy.
Well, we could always... I mean, I could always send Wisp if needed and let them know that we've gotten information and find out where they want us to proceed from there.
I look over to Bevyn and Anna. These two, they want us to be out here all the night, looking for decapitators. So maybe that is not such a good idea. I mean, such a bad idea to send your whatever it is, a Patronus.
It's not a Patronus. What have you been reading lately?
I don't know. There were some children's books in the library that looked very interesting.
That sounds better than what Liv preferred to read, that's for sure.
Yeah, sure. Liv was reading that.
No, trust me, Liv was reading that one. It's a little bit too close to reality sometimes for me.
The metagaming is real.
The streams are crossing.
That's right. The streams are crossed. Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams.
Are you a god?
Yes. Oh, God.
But that's enough Ghostbusters for today.
There we go.
Never enough.
That's true. Actually, I love that one. All right. So you start making your way from the trade ward. And now that you guys are all together, are you willing to share information with both Bevyn and Anna?
You know, in all honesty, I think
at this point we found the horse we were looking for and leave it at that.
Are you telling me that? Because Six sees these two as friends and sees no reason to withhold information from them.
As we're going over, perhaps we should just make sure that we keep certain information to ourselves just in case. I wouldn't want to upset anyone until we know what we're supposed to be doing.
I mean, what sort of information was, do you not want us to tell them? I mean...
Perhaps the whole Zentarum, Xanathar, half-orc, sun elf that transforms into a human with black armor. Let's just wait and see what they have to say to us first. I don't want to expose too much information and then find out we were supposed to keep our mouths closed.
I mean, Bevyn and Anna, they seem to know a little bit. Their sort of world that they come from seems to cross over into the shadows, where the Zentarum and them, those types of people like to hang out. Maybe they would know something.
Yes, but let's wait and see if we need to find out more, is what I'm saying. We can use our resources if we're given the go-ahead.
You make a good point. I will defer to your superior intellect.
And I promise I'll get you a nice fresh fish while we're in the dock ward.
I feel like you're patronizing me, but at the same time, I want a fish.
This morning.
No, you're being patronized, but you will get free fish. So at the same point in time, I mean, you know, like I'd go with the patronization. So there's the four of you get together. You pass through the trade wards, down through the castle wards. Do you stop? Do you wish to stop at the yawning portal, or just head straight down to the docks?
Is it on the way?
I mean, technically speaking, a little zig here, a little zag there, and
I mean, Bevyn, Anna, you want to wait until it is dark, yes? To look for what you're looking for?
You mean the murderers?
Yes.
I don't know how much you should be saying this out loud.
All right. Well, we did want to talk to some of the people down there. See what they have to say.
What time is it?
At this point in time, it's probably, you guys have spent probably at least 2 hours talking to horses, trying to find a talking horse in a city full of horses. So I would say it probably took you about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's probably hitting around noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That is my stomach is growling. I could go do with a bit of food to eat, and perhaps we stop by the yawning portal.
I quite agree. A little bite to eat might be nice, considering I didn't have breakfast. I just gave away my apple.
You made all those eggs, all that food, and you did not eat anything.
No, I forgot to.
I don't have anything we need to rush for. Most of what we need to do is going to be after dark, so quick
So
bite
then
to eat. Works for me.
let's head to the yawning portal then, since it seems a leisurely lunch is in order.
I mean, what could go wrong, right?
Now that you said it, everything.
Don't you have the blessing of Timora with you always?
Hopefully, in this case.
To the yawning portal.
Anna just clunks on Six's head twice. Knock on wood, right?
And you said I was patronizing you.
There's a difference between patronizing me and just being a dick.
Wow. Wow. Well, that escalated. And on that note, as you head down to the yawning portal, you begin to see a lot more people. You begin to see people getting ready, especially on the main roads. So as you take kind of the high road and the other kind of larger main roads, you see a lot of people are starting to kind of like make space and kind of push things aside and kind of move around and kind of like keeping an opening. And you see like areas are starting to get kind of cordoned off into kind of like a small walking, kind of like a sidewalk, or at least just a walking area. You see pennants are starting to get hung up. People are talking excitedly. If you were to overhear, it's not very difficult, but a lot of people are just getting excited that the Sea Maiden's Fair is coming, that the great Zardoz Zord is going to be arriving in Waterdeep, at least probably in the next 10 day, or at least by the end of this 10 day. So everyone's kind of excitedly talking about this dashing Luskan captain and his 3 ships that bring this huge traveling fair and circus and big, like kind of like long parade full of floats and animals and exotic things, and a lot of people are talking about it, and it's very exciting, and a lot of people you can tell it's getting cordoned off for just that reason. As you finally make your way down through Waterdeep Way and down Snail Street until you reach the yawning portal. However, I would like someone to roll me a D100. Doesn't matter who.
I got it here.
We call those dice the Rolling Thunder.
8.
8. Okay. As you're walking by, you don't see, like, nothing really happens. It's totally fine. There's not some hidden horrible thing that's gonna hit you guys later on. You make your way to the front. You push open the doors to the yawning portal, and you step inside. What are you guys looking for?
I'm immediately looking for a human in black plate armor or a sun elf, and a bruised half-orc lady.
All right. Make me an investigation check.
Yeah, because those work out really well for 6.
Well, I mean, you keep pushing for it.
Can we say that I'm helping him? Because I'd probably be doing the same. So we get
Sure.
advantage.
Okay.
I like to think that Bevyn and Anna just go grab a chair because they have no clue what's going on right now. So we're just gonna go eat.
12.
I love it when players communicate with each other. This is great.
12.
12. Now, is that with advantage?
Yes.
Okay. Looking around, it actually takes you a while. Like, both you and Kiara are just standing there, staring and looking around. A few patrons kind of move past you, kind of giving you sidelong glances, like, "Oh, it's a tavern. Just get out of the way," as they're walking out. You do eventually, however, after about 10 minutes of awkwardly standing where everyone else is sitting and drinking and having a good time, and staring at everyone, you do eventually see at least the human male in black plate. He's seated around with 3 other individuals. A tall woman wearing plate, a large, very large half-orc male wearing what looks to be hide armor, and he has like a wicked, like, just a nasty looking scar that starts kind of at his eyebrow and kind of goes across, like he's been basically either hit with an axe in the face or at least like deeply cut with a sword across the face. But he's seen some stuff, like lots of stuff. And you also see a small gnome, or a gnomish male, also sitting down, and they're all drinking and they're all talking kind of in low hushed tones.
Is there an open table near them?
There's not. There appears to be every table around them, and their table's kind of in the corner, but they're like, all the tables that are kind of near them are kind of taken up by individuals in black leather armor, and they're all sitting and drinking.
Plus, Bevyn and Anna just grabbed a seat, right? Yeah. So
So when I got dressed this morning and I was imitating Bevyn, I put on my darker clothes under my armor. Now my armor's just standard leather armor, but I'm wearing darker clothes. So I'm going to try to casually just wander around. Is there like a railing nearby, like to the yawning portal itself, or
they're
a
kind
banister?
They're seated away from the actual opening.
I'm going to get as close to them as I can to try to get within earshot. I'm just going to wander casually. But I look like I'm wandering casually.
I'm going to go sit with Bevyn and Anna so we don't make a bigger sight of ourselves.
Sure. Okay. What is this even? You know what? Make me a performance check.
Excellent.
You're trying to like walk without trying to make it obvious. Yeah. Let's go with a performance check.
Let's see. What is my performance? It is okay. I'm using a domain die.
Wow.
Since we just got one for that awesome raid from Aris and Co.
Thank you for that.
All right, so let's re-roll that, and the new roll is worse. Okay, so I have an 8. Fortunately, I have a +5 to my performance.
So 13 total, right? Or
No,
is that
no,
or is that
no,
eight?
no.
Oh.
That 8 is with the +5.
Oh.
I rolled a 3.
Oh. Okay. As you kind of
Thumbs in the edge of my armor, just kind of.
yeah. If you were, I mean, I don't know what it was. Maybe you thought that, this play that you did once, it was like the perfect way to be, really cool and sneaky.
I think Anna would just look to Kiara because I think like she would definitely notice. Is 6 all right?
I think he's practicing a new role.
Oh yeah, it very much looks like an exaggerated stage performance of a nefarious character.
I mean,
I think I even have like, I'm not wearing a cape, but I kind of do this thing like I'm hiding behind my cape for a moment.
that or he thinks he's a vampire.
Maybe I hit him in the head too hard.
It's a possibility. He doesn't have that many brain cells left. I worry about that.
And Bevyn and Anna, you both know who he's going closer and closer to. I need both Bevyn and Anna, actually, and Kiara. I'll need all three of you to make me perception checks.
14.
18.
23.
Ooh.
Of course. I forgot you have X-ray vision.
Yeah.
So Kiara and Anna, you can see that they already know that 6 is coming and what the hell's going on. And they're talking, like you can tell that they're talking, but they're looking in that way that, and then the gnome keeps kind of looking up and back to him and talking. 6, you get within earshot. You get very, very close. And you hear this human male speaking to this gnome. So what you're telling me, Schemo, is that if you use all of the innards of a tabaxi, you can actually reverse the aging process. Is that how it goes? And this tiny gnome's like, well, you see, okay, right, but I haven't tried it out yet because I haven't found a willing or unwilling tabaxi. If we could find a tabaxi, all we'd have to do is ply him with drink. And if we can ply him with drink, then maybe we can get him drunk enough that he's passed out. And then, if he's passed out, he won't notice a few missing, well, inner bits. You see what I mean? And the half orc is just like staring deadpan at you, 6. Like he's not even playing this game. He's just staring deadpan at you. And you've seen some death stares in your time, maybe from a bad performance. Maybe you were too amorous with someone's relation. I don't know. But this is probably one of the scariest stare downs that you have ever witnessed in your entire life. And the fact that he has what looks to be like an axe cleft through the side of it, like through the front of his face, just adds to that intimidation factor.
It's totally, as those guys are talking about the tabaxi, I'm literally just kind of listening. About the time I'm realizing that they're saying tabaxi a lot, I'm kind of listening and looking away, and that's when my eyes drift across and I see this half orc staring right at me, and it's just that kind of, ooh. And then try to look away and just keep looking back at him. It feels like a very Austin Powers moment. Just, oh.
Finally, the human turns and looks straight at you. Can I help you, Tabaxi?
Well, allow me to introduce myself. My name is 6 Days into Summer.
Don't care.
And I feel as though I could be I could be a very powerful ally in your organization.
Hold that thought for just a moment.
Oh.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
We're going to lose our bard.
They won't kill me.
They're going to take your innards and do a youth function.
He looks right at you, and he kind of, because he's sitting down and you're standing up, but he kind of motions for you to.
This is the human?
Yeah, the human, yeah.
I will lean down to him.
Okay. Make me a perception check.
Of course I can do that. That is going to be a 10. He's so sucked tonight.
He kind of grabs the side of your lapel and he pulls it forward and he said, I don't like it when people try to sneak up on me. My friends here don't like it either. And I really don't like it. So I don't know what sort of game you're playing, but you seem like a good sort, so I'll let this one pass. I'm going to let you walk away. Because at this point, you have the God's given ability to breathe. And I think we should keep it that way, don't you? And then he lets go of your lapel.
Yes, of course. It you see, it was a terrible misunderstanding. I thought you were a gentleman I knew by the name of Draven that I've seen in these parts. I was trying to. Well, it makes no difference what I was trying to do.
Yeah, he just holds up a hand.
It is clearly a case of mistaken identity. I will show myself away from you.
Yes, I think we're done here. And he turns back around.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Smart. And how about the rest of you? What are the three of you getting up
I think
to?
we're all doing this.
I have a giant grin on my face. Like, I enjoyed that immensely in a very sick and twisted way. Having been on the edge of my seat, hoping that there wasn't a fight involved, but yeah, that was enjoyable for Bevyn.
Do you suppose you could teach him a thing or two about how to actually stealth?
He has a thing or two to learn about a lot of different things.
Two?
Many.
Many. Oh dear God, he's gonna get himself killed one of these days.
So at this point, you're back with the rest of the party. What would you guys like to do in the yawning portal?
I need a drink.
So,
And
Six, let me give you a little tip. When you see the big scary man, that's when you let Anna and I do the talking. Like
That gentleman has clearly been to some of my performances and recognized my nefarious villain, Dastardly Dan, and saw right through my ruse. It's unfortunate because otherwise I feel like I could have gotten very close and perhaps gleaned some information.
What were you trying to do?
Get really close and learn some kind of information. They look like the sorts that would know a thing or two about the thing or two. Look, to be honest, if we're all going to get along, I thought maybe it would be good to understand the kind of people you come from.
Usually the best way to do that.
Kind of people. What is that supposed to mean? Kind of people.
The kind of people that wear dark clothing and slink around at night and sit in dark, shadowy parts of taverns.
The kind of people that like to stab cats when they get too close.
You know what? I think I'm going to go up to the bar and I'm going to get a round of drinks for everybody here at this table. I'm careful not to say this too loud. I'm going to get a round of drinks for all of us here at this table. And, yes. I don't see how I can get in any trouble doing that.
You are full of surprises.
That's probably the nicest thing you've said that I'm full of.
Anna is like, she's kind of making eye contact with Bevyn and like looking towards the people in the back and kind of looking back to Bevyn and just like hoping that they're not like looking and seeing us associate with Six.
You guys, it's like you guys are worried that Six is going to embarrass you in front of the cool kids.
Well,
This is a little too
He's
real.
cool kid.
This is a little too real.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm going up to get I'll go up and then buy drinks. I'm going to get us all Boilermakers.
Oh, goodness. Well, then, things are about to get real. Fantasy equivalent of a Boilermaker. Okay. So you approach the bar. Dernan comes up and kind of leans over. What do you have?
4 Boilermakers. Good Lord.
All right. So he kind of looks at you strangely. What?
You are a bartender, yes?
Yeah.
This is a drink, yes?
What's a boiler? I'm confused. You want a boiler maker? I mean, there's a few people here who are plumbers and...
It is a drink. Look, 4 stout ales, 4 shots of something strong.
Oh, you want a hammer fist? Right. And so he turns around and pours he pours this like thick black beer, fills them up halfway and sets them down, and then he grabs these 4 small ones, and you can see it. It's this bottle that is kind of steel. It's like basically it's not even a bottle. It's a steel canister, but it's in the shape of an anvil. And you see him kind of holding it out like this as he's pouring 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's careful not to he's extremely careful not to spill it onto the actual bar top. Closes it back up again. 3 gold.
I will give him 3 gold pieces.
And he puts it all onto a tray, and then very gently, gingerly, one might say, hands it to you.
And I will take the tray and walk back to the table with my friends.
Okay. Make me an acrobatics check.
All right. This die is not going to be used. Neither is that one. Oh boy. We'll go with this one. 19.
Okay. So you manage to, though it's shaking, you manage to bring it over. And you set it down. You hand out the drinks, and I'll let you take it from there. Most importantly, though, is everyone going to imbibe?
All right. I used to tour with this ugly dwarf by the name of Handsome Jorge. And he is the one who told me about these. He told me it was called a Boilermaker, but Darnan up here, he says it's called a Hammer Fist. It doesn't matter. You'll take this glass, you'll hold it over this glass. You take this glass of whiskey. You hold it over the top. You let it drop inside the beer, and then you drink the whole thing.
So,
And then I will immediately do that.
To all of them or yours?
No, no, just the one. By
Well,
way of
it's
demonstration, I will immediately just kind of taking the beer glass like this and holding the shot over top of it, and then let it drop in, and immediately, slop water everywhere.
You see in the glass, as soon as he drops it in, that dark black beer just suddenly, instantly changes from black to almost clear as he guzzles it down. Six, you feel like your insides are getting beaten up by that half orc that just stared you down to death. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw. By the way, are all of you going to be having some?
I'm not doing
I
that.
say wait to see what happens to me.
Bevyn drinks right along with 6.
Constitution saving throw. That's an 11.
Okay, I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw as well, Bevyn.
I think Anna would as well.
All right, same thing. Con save throw.
17.
Nice.
I put my shot glass in the middle of the table and I sip my ale because I know better. On an empty stomach, that's not a good idea.
Before Anna drinks, she's like, no better time than drinking right before catching murderers, right? And she got a 12.
Okay, Bevyn, you feel it feels like hot, sick death going down into your gullet. Like it's just painful. But you manage to kind of like just shake it off. You feeling good. However, 6 and Anna, this seems to be a like 3 gold mistake. You feel it going down, and it burns and it hurts. It's like when you get hung over after drinking Smirnoff Ices all night. You get that sudden like gut pain. It's like basically you've just drank battery acid, or at least a dwarven equivalent of it. You do not feel well at all, and you're both also quite drunk. Even after that one, you don't know what was in that anvil-shaped steel container that contained this alcohol, but you're pretty sure that it was created in the dwarven version of hell. So you're both pretty drunk, which means any sort of perception, dexterity, all at disadvantage, which is great when you're about to catch a murderer.
Well, look. I'd say so far it's been a pretty productive day. We found Maxine the talking horse. We met some amazing gentlemen over there in the corner. There was some lovely drinks. Great conversation. Anna. Right?
Anna is just like staring a hole into the table, wide-eyed.
It's good. It's good. It's good, right, Kiara?
I'm not speaking from experience, let's put it that way.
Remind me to kill 6.
Don't
I
forget to kill 6.
Is Bevyn drunk too, or
No, you're good. You
good?
managed to, you fought it off. You've got iron stomach.
Good God, how many of you? How many did we? What?
You've had one. Maybe we should get some food in your stomach to help counteract the.
Yeah.
Somebody says something about tuna.
So Bevyn's gonna head up. I'm gonna head up to the bar and I just want to come back with a tray just full of meat, like fish and meat and bread, and
Sure.
just drop that in front of them and be like,
Carbo load. Yeah, so I mean, you get a couple of plates of quipper and chips. You get a few like roasted haunches of stuff. Just all sorts of like, basically like if it's got carbohydrates and grease, boom. So yeah, I mean, 2 chicken pot pies, just all the stuff, and you just begin to eat. And the worst part is when you while you eating it, you can still feel the pain as this whatever you drank is like, no, this is my stomach now, and trying to kick whatever food out. So you guys are having a tough time keeping it down, but you do manage eventually.
Anna's going to quickly I think I saw someone running outside, and she's going to run out to throw up.
And so the purge begins. All right. Well, you work your magic. As far as you, Six,
I'm just doing that drunk thing where as soon as the food's put down, I just start grabbing at whatever, and I'm just eating. I don't care about what was on the plate. If it's meant to be eaten with your hands or not, I'm just picking it up and eating. And I'm probably telling a story about one of the shows I was in. But between the drunkenness and the mouthful of food, you have no idea what I'm saying.
And I'm sure it was astounding. After some time, as you guys begin to eat up, you begin to sober up a little bit, but it takes quite a bit of time. It is now probably around 6 p.m. After trying to get you guys back into some semblance of help. You still don't feel great, but at least, and I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll give you guys an option, because I'm going to say this is kind of a short drunk rest. I'll give you guys an option. You can either bring perception back to just straight rolls, or a dexterity check, but not both. So you're going to have to choose. And I'm not saying you guys got to choose for both of you. Anna, you choose which one you want to take, and Six, you choose which one you want to take.
I feel like Six would do all right. Dexterously, having performed under the influence. But he definitely is not paying as much attention, especially since it's kind of this many hours later. I imagine it's kind of like that crossing over from drunkenness toward evening hangover. So I definitely know why they call this thing a hammer fist. Oh, it's like a dwarf is inside my head punching me in the back of my eye.
Oh, that's the worst. I know that feeling all too well. Megan looks like she's like, oh yeah, I've been there. He's an evil little dwarf and he stole all my money.
So I'm definitely taking the hit to perception.
Okay.
I think that Anna would take perception with taking the hit to dexterity.
All right, sounds good. So as you leave, the sun has already is just kind of dipping now onto the horizon. It's kind of lighting up the sky in this kind of very beautiful golden glow. As you guys kind of stumble or walk, as those who actually can make their rolls, or who are smart enough to just say no, because we're just catching a murderer. And you guys begin to walk down to the docks. You kind of walk around, and even still being a little bit drunk, you guys, Anna and Six, you guys kind of get a fair, you're fairly not hidden, but at least melding with the rest of the crowd. You see like tons of sailors coming from all kinds of ships, and you just see just a myriad of different designs, like some that look like these huge, beautifully designed Venetian style galleys. And you see large sailing ships and kind of narrow hulled clipper ships. You see a few like smaller ships. You even see a few war vessels, all of them docked, and the different sailors from different places just kind of wandering around, doing drinking and fighting and telling very tall tales and so on and so forth. As you progress down through the evening and continue wandering, you kind of see a lot of humans, you see a lot of dwarven sailors, halfling sailors, all types, but it's very hard to notice any type of elf or half elf, as either they're too quick for that or they don't partake. They do some, like whatever they're doing, they just tend to kind of stay kind of hidden. But eventually, as the night wears on, you do find outside of a tavern called the Mule Skull Tavern, you see a half elf, and he's kind of wandering. He seems like he's dressed in kind of very light armor, leather armor. It's not quite well taken care of. He has looks to be a short sword at his side. He's definitely weaving and bobbing, and he seems to be all by himself, and he's humming some sea shanty that's bordering on obscene in its verses. So I won't repeat it. Also, I can't sing, and he's just kind of wandering through the very quiet now streets.
He looks like a good victim. Should we talk to him?
Well, I wouldn't say that to him right away, that you look like a good victim. It might scare him away. But perhaps if he has any information.
Anna would look to Bevyn.
Seems as good a place to start as any. Should we talk or should we follow?
Well, we've seen how well someone's done with trying to talk and follow, so I'm going to leave it up to the two of you feeling it out as to which would be best.
If you want me to be quiet and sneaky, this is something I can. This is something that I can do. But are you wanting to follow? You said there's a victim. I thought we were looking for murderers. You're not a murderer, are you? I mean, we established that you are a murderer.
We've been over this, Six. I am.
Well, we've established this, but I mean, you're not continuing this habit. Is not the plan. Yes?
Well, I'll make exceptions.
I believe they're doing what's called profiling, Six.
I'm not sure if a half-elf is... So, sorry, did he tell us that it was only other elves that were being killed, or also half-elves?
Also half-elves. Elves and half-elves are being killed.
Okay. How likely do you think it would be for a half-elf to kill their own kind?
Well, I mean, much of it's going to depend on their background, and sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. There's always some sort of tragic story attached to many, it seems.
What do you think, Bevyn?
I think we ought to just keep an eye on him. I don't know if he's the one we want to talk to at this point, but let's see what he's up to. And so Bevyn's just gonna, I'll throw my hood on and just kind of slink into the shadows, keeping an eye on this wandering half elf.
Yeah, at this point, it is getting rapidly dark outside. It is now probably with wandering around the dock wards and around the taverns and stuff. You can tell it's probably I'd say around 10:30 at night. This one half elf just stumbling around. As you follow him, what I'd like you to do is kind of how close are you gonna follow him? Like, are you gonna follow him and kind of like stay out of sight, or are you gonna follow him and try and look nonchalant?
Yeah, I would say that, if he's on like one side of the street or the alley, I'm going to be on the other, several paces back. Probably a building or half building to a building length, so that I can keep him in sight, but not try not to be obvious about it.
Okay. So as you guys are following him, he's bobbing and weaving. He stops to relieve himself on the side of a building at some point. As he's continual walking, I'm going to need all of you to make perception checks.
All right. At disadvantage.
13.
17.
Got a
10.
19.
So sorry. What was that?
I
6?
was going to say, while we were hanging back, could I have taken that moment to send the message off to Mert of the information we got from Maxine?
Sure, not a problem.
Okay. So off went Wisp with the information.
6 got a 10.
Okay, and Anna?
19.
19. And sorry, what did you get, Bevyn?
13.
Okay. Anna, you're the one who sees as this half-elf is kind of stumbling past an alley. Just for a moment, you can see what looks to be the moonlight kind of glinting off of a blade. And you can kind of see it beginning to move kind of slowly, methodically, like a predator. What do you do?
Is Anna near Bevyn?
You tell me.
I think they would have like a bit of distance staggered. But she's gonna try and catch up to him and kind of tap him and point to where she saw. Without any words or anything, she's trying to be very sneaky.
To Bevyn.
Yes. Just to let him know what she saw.
Okay. So you run up and you tap him. You see the half-elf getting closer and closer to the alleyway.
So I'll look at where she's pointing, and will I see the same thing or no?
I mean, if she's pointing it out, maybe.
Okay. Is it? Well, so I is it danger on a?
Yeah, knife.
Right.
It looks bigger than a knife. Like from what you saw, it's
Sword.
bigger than.
Sword.
It's not a knife. This is a knife.
So I will.
We should wait, right? Don't want to lose him.
What are you whispering about?
So I will. I'll just kind of motion for Anna to take up on one side of the alley, and I'll kind of move over to the other side, keeping an eye on what's going on. I'm also going to pull out one of my daggers and just have it kind of by my side at this point.
Okay. As the half elf moves across the alley, you kind of just see a silhouette of him for a moment in the moonlight, and then just it's like his head just topples right off. Massive spray of blood.
Jesus.
and the half elf just like the sailor just kind of collapses to his knees and hits the ground.
Do we see the person? Like, do they, or is it just like a quick
From the shadow? Yeah, it's so quick that you see nothing.
I think that Anna would sprint. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I would say the same thing. I'm running. At this point, though, I've switched out my dagger. I'm pulling out my bow, and I'm running for the towards the alley.
Okay. It doesn't take you long to get up to the alley. As you turn in and look, you don't see anything. And that's where we're going to end our session for tonight.
With the beheading.
Well,
So apparently in Waterdeep, Boilermakers are no joke.
They are not. They are not. Fantasy.
Hammerfist. I'm writing that down. That's canon.
Boilermakers are no joke, period. But
they're not too.
Yeah. I mean, not if you drink them right.
Oh, I used to drink them all the time when I was in the army, from what I can remember.
Hey, at least it wasn't a cement mixer.
Cement mixers are the worst.
Oh.
What's a cement mixer?
What is? I can't remember what all goes into it.
It's
Bailey's and lime juice.
Yeah.
But it turns into
curdled.
You don't
gross.
drink it fast enough, it turns solid.
Oh,
Not
it's wild.
solid, but it turns very thick.
It curdles.
That
Basically.
sounds
but
less like a drink and more like a hazing.
It
Yeah,
is.
essentially.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
it
kind
is.
of a joke.
Absolutely.
You only drink them when you're in a group that's going to make you drink it, knowing full well that you're not going to finish it in time.
Yeah,
And then you have
exactly.
to suffer through it. And
Yeah.
there's vomiting involved.
Usually 21st birthdays are involved.
Yeah.
3 more years.
Usually you
Dwight.
put down like 2 or 3 Boilermakers and then you
Kids,
pull out
right?
the cement mixers.
Dwight, 3 more years.
Right?
Then we can
man.
initiate someone.
Oh boy.
Or
Next
Or-
weekend, whatever.
or you can just take him to Quebec like now.
Oh, he's still
for
18.
now.
It's, it's 19 up there.
No,
still,
not
isn't
Windsor.
it?
No. Take him to Montreal.
Mhm,
Take him to Montreal. Go down Rue Saint Catherine
mhm.
and never speak of it.
Yeah, but I can
Well,
get to Windsor.
given the
in
fact
2
that we're
hours.
still talking about this on the live stream,
That might be a slight concern.
no
We
names
neither
have been named.
condone-
Right.
Yeah. we don't condone the behavior. We're just joking about it for the purpose of play.
As long as you're legal age,
Exactly.
That's right.
Right.
which is 18 in a lot of provinces, by the way.
Ah.
hmm
It's 19 in mine, but whatever. I don't care. I'm like freaking ancient.
Way past that.
Oh yeah.
Eh.
Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for
Mhm.
joining us today. I had a great time. These guys totally botched up a mission. That's awesome. I'm loving it.
It was not my fault.
You can check me out, like right up there, and that's my Twitter, and you can follow me, and I'll follow you too. And I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought, so now I'll bring it over to B.
Okay, hi everyone. I am V. I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse, where I show you how to craft terrain, paint minis, make game accessories, and all that wonderful stuff. You can find me over on Twitter at this handle. You can also find me on Instagram and also on Facebook. It's The Crafting Muse pretty much everywhere to make it easy for you. And you can also find me here Monday and Thursday nights playing games because it's fun. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Come back next week. That's it for me.
Right.
All right. So yeah, hey, I'm Dwight, Big Bearded Nerd on Twitter. Follow me there. Yeah, I'm just wondering when I'll get to roll my dice in anger on this game. I think it's been a month plus since I've been in combat on this game. I'm not complaining. It's been fun, but I feel like maybe we're getting closer to it. So maybe I should have acted a little bit quicker a few seconds ago and maybe not let that sailor lose his head, but whatever. So, but yeah, I this has been great. I'm enjoying myself. It's fun interacting with everybody in the chat and seeing what happens with these characters. So we'll get back next week and see what happens before. Will this be a mid-season cliffhanger, mid-season break coming up on Christmas here, Jake? So
Yeah, I was going to mention that next Monday will be our episode 10, and it will be our last game of 2018. Because of Christmas and New Year's Eve both falling on Mondays, we'll be taking 2 weeks off. So yeah, after next week, we will resume on
the 6th.
I think it's the 6th. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but
7th.
Do have a calendar.
7, yeah.
7.
7. On the 7th, we will resume. So, Megan.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice. And yeah, this was always a lot of fun. I rolled my dice like a couple times, so that's always fun. So I'm really, really digging this game.
Megan, I don't know if you saw in the chat, but we're thinking we need to have a doing the deathin' as a t-shirt.
Doing the deathin'?
Along with, I need to find an artist to draw a cute tabaxi in a pink princess dress.
Right.
Yeah, I am Jake, MTD Jake, right here on the Twitters, and even further up above my head, Mini Terrain Domain. This is my channel where we do games and stuff. As we said, Mike, you had stepped out for a second, but next week is going to be the last game of 2018 because the holidays will be off for 2 weeks. Please consider tuning in on Thursday for our Sunless Citadel campaign, episode 12, which is also the season 1 finale of the Sunless Citadel. And I bring that up in particular because Megan and V are both in that game. And we've been playing that one for quite a while, along with DM Scotty and Jeremy Lilly from Erasmus Expeditions. And we also just announced, and you can head over, if you go to my Twitter, you can see it there, or you can head over to Mini Terrain Domain and see it. Starting in January, season 2 starts up, and that is going to be a continuation of the Tales of the Yawning Portal, the Forge of Fury, and Nerdarchist Ted from Nerdarchy is joining the cast for that one. So that we're really looking forward to that. And then, of course, on Sundays, and probably a similar situation, I got to look at the calendar. We're playing next Sunday, our Chult of Personality, which Megan has as the logo on her sweatshirt we showed at the break, for Chult of Personality, which also has Megan and Mike in it, along with Marquise and Connor. And Ken Brees, from Burling's Beard, will be joining us as a Shara again. Tahoo! So he will, I've just confirmed that today. He will be joining us this Sunday for that game. So follow everybody on their various Twitters on Wednesday. This will be over on YouTube, and you can find everybody's YouTube links and everything else down in the chat, along with links to the Mini Terrain Domain Patreon and the Mini Terrain Domain Redbubble shop. So check all that stuff out. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Eris Savad for the raid. earlier in the evening and bringing some viewers over and giving me that one domain die that I used. I don't know what was up with my dice tonight. Man, my night could have gone a whole lot differently. I think it's got something to do with Dwight and me playing a bard. Because when Dwight's around, my bards do not perform well. So I guess I'm blaming it on Dwight. It's some projection. At any rate, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Mike, for bringing us such awesome games every week. I like being able to just sit back and be a player. And you are a wonderful DM to do that under. So with that, we are going to get out of here, and we're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.